All right, y'all. Looks like Drake dropped a new freestyle called Fighting Irish Freestyle. Let's get into it.
I'm recording. I love you.
Yeah. The summer is over, I missed it. Barrett was smoking, I kissed it. Fair showed us the renters for Texas, it's unrealistic. Cut him the check, cause I hate reviewing the budgets and limits. Just pay the man. The world fell in love with the gimmicks, even my brothers got tickets. Seemed like they loved every minute. Just know the shit is personal to us and it wasn't just business. Analyzing behavioral patterns is somewhat suspicious. Niggas was never happy for me when I run up the digits. Or when I'm breaking world records still as I guzzle a Guinness. Or when I get my fifth made back cause the color is different. Remember we traded watches, I gave you the Arabic dial, you gave me a numbered edition. You would even check up on my son like a pediatrician. Sure convinced the gang that shit was rooted in love when it isn't. Show me how different we are, there's blessings in juxtaposition. I guess now you boys gotta abandon your summer tradition. Cold shoulders I gave in the Hamptons, it come with the distance. Figured we was always gonna be close like ovens and kitchens. I was sadly mistaken, the loyalty wasn't a given.
Ooh, so I guess we got a lot to unpack here. He's talking about basically this is the aftermath of the whole, once again, beef. Now we are now in 2025 and this man is talking about this beef. Of course, if you notice in the video, he still has his braids, but as you know by now, he's already cut his hair and everything. So, apparently this was the afterthought. Now, just judging by the first verse here, this could have been his version of the Heart Part 6 right here. There's a couple of things that stand out to me talking about, having a gimmick. The world fell in love with the gimmicks. But you was part of the gimmicks. You was part of the bots. You started it. I don't even think it would have gotten personal if you never mentioned Kendrick's woman's name. And it's like you're mad that the tactic that you usually use got used on you, right? So it seems like you're upset because he actually won and you don't get how he won because he's always been better than you as an MC. But you felt because he was a certain type of MC and you were considered the golden boy because you were not an MC like that, that he shouldn't have won. You had everything on your side. You had the people. You did have the people on your side. You had the industry on your side. You had all the bots and everything on your side. So you felt that you was a force to be reckoned with. But Kendrick had the culture. That's different. That's different. You didn't have that. Now, this is where I am going to stand up for Drake. Okay, I am, and I'm not one to be Drake's fan. I'm not a Drake fan at all. However, he does have the right. Now we don't know the background of the things between him and LeBron and stuff, but he does have a right to feel a way about that because they went way up above and beyond making sure he knew that they was rocking with Kendrick. Now DeMar, I get DeMar is from Compton and all that, but there's still a certain way he could have moved as well. Okay, um, with LeBron and the rest, I can see where Drake can feel like, he's like, I can't believe what exactly happened. Now, again, we don't know exactly what went on in the background, right? But this beef has exposed a lot of things because let me tell you, the only one that stood on business, and I said that when we were reviewing Port Antonio, was Kendrick. Kendrick was going to be the one that's going to stand on business because his reasoning for not liking Drake wasn't like the others' reasoning for not liking him. Like the others, it appeared by from what it looked like, they actually needed him to have chart success and what have you. Kendrick came from the TDE stock. He didn't need him. It was nice that he had him on stage with him. It was nice that he brought him there. But Kendrick was going to get there regardless. Not saying that none of the Atlanta dudes was going to get there because they were in their own right. But Kendrick was more solidified in his artistry than the other ones, to me at least. And his beef, if you will, their back and forth was something that was rooted in something totally genuine and different than what was going on behind the scenes. This wasn't about sleeping with the same girl or something superficial like that. This was some real stuff here, right? So moving Kendrick aside, when it comes to LeBron, and it's been rumored that Drake did have a tattoo of LeBron on his arm. It's been rumored that they trade watches, they've done a lot of things together, and it's like I think he's really trying to figure out what happened. Maybe LeBron felt betrayed after he found out that Drake didn't do mob ties. That he found out that he really didn't pin mob ties. He was like, okay, he really is phony. Maybe Savannah don't really like Drake at all and was like, I told you. I don't know what it was, but the confusion of trying to understand where everybody else is mad at, I can kind of see. I get it. But let's continue.
It's all good. And niggas cry the blues for you saying it wasn't malicious. Talking about we family, well I'm not the cousin to visit. God forbid we ever gotta tarnish your public image. All that brother talk as if I really discovered a sibling. 6 degrees, my memories retrieving our humble beginnings. Niggas wanted trouble, grabbed a shovel and dug up some ditches. Cover my body in dirt, but that wasn't me. That wasn't me. That was a body double and we've done dozens of switches. Niggas tried to light the front gate up, it wasn't for Christmas. I said a prayer that morning for Sean and it wasn't religious. It came from a place of desperation and utter submission. Rapping was over for now, it came like a sudden decision. I don't give a fuck about you snakes or these other musicians. Niggas started fucking with my family, I'm going to prison. And we all crashing out together, my brother's complicit. Who put a pipe bomb in your trunk? It wasn't exhibit. I'm trying to blow the doors off that bitch when you touch the ignition. But then I gotta remember who made this shit come to fruition. It's me.
Alright, so in verse 2, it looks like he's talking about, first and foremost, DeMar DeRozan on this, because you can tell when he says that, and niggas cried the blues for you, saying it wasn't malicious. We've all seen DeMar DeRozan, and he was kind of like trying to downplay it, but he didn't really have the right words in it. Instead of just saying, hey, you know what? I know what it looks like. Drake's my boy. And he could have actually stayed out of it completely. He did not have to show up in the video either, nor dancing on the stage, but he did all of that. But there's some more stuff here. He's mentioning what happened with his guard outside his gate, which ironically I haven't heard anything else about. Wow. Interesting. Maybe somebody need to check on that because there was some investigation going on and then it got real quiet. Again, he's talking about, people digging ditches for him and everything. He's really upset at, who he thought his friends were and all. And that part again, that's like I said before, I agree with that. But let's get to this part here. Where he's saying rapping was over for now. It came like a sudden decision, and that's after the fact that something happened to his security guard, right? And then he started talking about how he was gonna crash out because of his family and everything, right? And I'm gonna go to prison, and we all crashing out together. My brother's complicit. Who put a pipe bomb in your truck? It was an exhibit. I'm trying to blow the doors off that bitch, but when you touch the ignition, but then I gotta remember who made this shit come to fruition, and then he said it was him. So let's talk about that a little bit. I know I kind of messed up on the verbiage and everything. Look, if you're complaining about that, then you should understand why Kendrick got the right to go off on what you did. Because everybody forget that Kendrick sat here and said, look, this man put a money hit out on my family. He sit up there and offering people money, so much money, up to crypto bitcoins to find out information about me. What if one of these fools done something to me because of that money? So, you know what I mean? You're saying this, but you forget what was going on with Kendrick. That's why Kendrick did whack out murals. Now, a lot of people was up there saying, well, I can't believe Drake is complaining. And we got to provide both sides to be fair, because although Kendrick won, he was pissed off at the culture. He was like, I'm mad at the MCs that sat here and took the side of a person that's the antithesis of hip hop, of the culture, of the art of MCing, everything that we stand for, everything that I stood for. And y'all went against me. Y'all betrayed me. So when you really think about this beef, it opened the eyes of both Kendrick and Drake that there was a lot of phoniness in everything. Kendrick thought that as much as he is part of the culture of hip hop and MCing, the people who share in that culture, he thought that they would at least respect the culture. And he seen that they turned their back on him and just said, well, Drake my friend, so, he won because he my friend. You couldn't even be honest. Fat Joe couldn't even be honest, say, hey, Drake lost, man. This was the art of MCing. They've done that to everybody else. When it was Nas and Jay, the first thing you heard was, yo, Jay my boy, but Nas got it. Or Nas my boy, but Jay got it. When it was when it was Nicki and Remy, I love Nicki, but Remy got it. Like everybody wasn't scared to say who won based off the lyricism. But when it came to Drake and Kendrick, y'all, what happened? And these are New Yorkers. This is where rap came from. This is the home of hip hop, and they couldn't even be honest with themselves. You want to know why you couldn't be honest with yourself? Because everybody got money from this man. Some type of way. Everything is political now. It gotten political. It's not even hip hop anymore. It's gotten so political you can't even say, hey man, fair and square, straight up, just off of lyricism. Hey, Kendrick got it. Yo, Drake would still be the dude, but Kendrick got it. It's taking certain people to say that. The MCs that we grew up with that cherish lyricism can't even say that. Won't even say it. So I think that this has been an eye opener on both sides. But for Drake to start talking like he's about to crash out over his family, imagine what was going through Kendrick's head when you was putting money out in the streets, and somebody could have crashed out on his family. You didn't care about that. Don't start asking people to care about what you could have lost when he could have lost something just as great. You're losing, and his losing is the same amount of type of loss. You think you're more valuable than this man. This man cherishes his family a lot more than what you think he do. Okay? You wouldn't have cared if he lost everything, because the only thing you kept saying is, I had more to lose. You talking about monetary, as far as monetary things and contracts and all of that stuff? Probably so. But that man loved his family, and he wasn't going to play with you about his family. And you played, and he was telling you, I'm serious about that. So you didn't mind if he was going to call your woman all kind of names and stuff, because you kept opening up the door for that. But he wasn't going to let you disrespect Whitney. He meant that with his heart and soul. He stood 10 toes down with that. He wasn't playing. You not used to that because you ain't never had to do that. Because you usually don't stand for women no way. So you don't know what it feels like when a man actually stands for their wife and for their family. He comes from that. A lot of you men don't come from that. So that's why it's foreign to you.
Who's got the most to lose and who's in that other position? Signal conversations where I hope they got double encryption. I hate to see the empire crumble on judges' convictions. This nigga pulled a rabbit out the hat and y'all love a magician. It's funny to see you all rejoicing and hugging and kissing. What are we celebrating? I rent out the club at Edition. Nothing was the same with all you bitches and nothing's forgiven. But next time, bury me in gold. My blood is Egyptian. The Dennis James come out when the vodka is flooding my system. I don't have a drinking problem. I got a subtle addiction. I got my father's habits and I got my mother's permission. My dad has another child. I told him that wasn't my sister. Grew up with dozens of Jews, churches with dozens of Christians. Also developed a deep respect for the Muslim religion. I'm staring at my daddy while y'all tell me I wasn't that nigga. That's fucking crazy. That's crazy. That's as far as I got. That's fucking crazy, though.
Okay, so that wraps up the end of the song. So for verse 3, again, he was talking about how much he'll have more to lose than Kendrick would. And then he's also mentioning something about signal conversations. Well, I hope they got double encryption. I'd hate to see the empire crumble on judges' convictions. I don't know what he's talking about on that, especially since he's the one that has the whole petition of things. So I don't know what that part means. Apparently, somebody can educate me on that. Now, this part here, when he's talking about Kendrick pulling a rabbit out of his hat, and y'all love a magician, he has some damn nerve. Kendrick, the difference is, and you can tell by the organic of each song, the organic reception of each song. Kendrick didn't have to pull no rabbit out of his hat. Each song was a build-up. It started as a build-up. Like that was the warning shot. Euphoria was letting you know I Ben was able to rap better than you. And I'm warning you, let's keep this a friendly fade. Don't get stupid. Because he by the time he hit Euphoria, remember Drake had, what was that? Drop and Give Me 20 push-ups or whatever the heck that was called. And he was already mentioning Whitney's name. And then when Euphoria hit, and then 616 hit, and then Family Matters hit, he went full blown on it. He made his accusations. Y'all keep getting mad that Kendrick made the P comments and stuff like that, the PDF file comments. But for some reason, y'all really graze over the fact that Drake called him a whole DV abuser, DVA. And when he's supposed to be a victim of that. But at the same breath, called her all kind of names, told her to raise her hands up and everything, and made fun of her long post, because at that time, that woman was going through postpartum depression. But that part was fine. Because don't nobody want no PDF file on their jacket. You right. Don't nobody want that on their jacket. They also don't want to have a DV on their jacket either. So the fact that he outgamed him in his own game, a lot of people for some reason is mad. We see Drake is mad. Drake gonna have to get over that shit, because that's what it was. Now when he's talking about I found that this one part of the bar was real interesting. He said the dentist jeans come out when the vodka is flooding my system. So either A is pouring out his system, or he peeing it out of something. And he said he doesn't have a drinking problem. I got a subtle addiction. I mean, all of that to me harkens back to Meet the Grahams. I got my father's habits and my mother's permission. Again, Sandra, sit down. There's something I got to tell you. Dennis, I blame you for his habits. This is his mom and daddy right here talking about it. You know what I'm saying? He also, because he's referencing when Kendrick was talking about, he lied about his religion and all of that stuff. He's mentioning religion, and he said, I'm staring at my daddy while y'all telling me I wasn't that, And again, going back to, that's not what he was telling you. It's like the lack of awareness and conversation. And this is the thing. It's not like Kendrick used double, triple entendres to tell you that you ain't shit. He didn't do all that. It's not like he used certain metaphors and what have you, and limericks and riddles and shit to just tell you that you are not part of the culture. You use from the culture. Now, that doesn't mean that other people haven't allowed you to do it, but you use it. Just because you are half black doesn't mean that you are for the culture. Case in point, we have a lot of people who are full black, and they are coons. Okay? They look just like me, you, and everyone else who are black, but they are straight up and down coons. They hate the culture of black people. Now, are you a fan of? Yes, I could tell that you are a fan of. In a way, I could tell that the people that Drake surrounded himself around, like LeBron James, he's lived out his fantasy of finally being accepted, right? And I think that's what hurts him the most, because he's like, I did everything right to be accepted, and you niggas still didn't accept me. I did everything right. I did what I was supposed to do. I was an actor. I sung monotone. I've been accepted by one of the greatest rappers of all time, Lil Wayne. I was part of this clique that we was all making money. I made my connections. I helped some of y'all get to Canada when you had a record. So I can understand his viewpoint. Like, I did the right thing. How is it that you all are against me like that? if he's missing a piece that he don't get, right? Because this is the thing. Those of us who was grown and brought up in the culture of hip hop, right? And seen the many facets of it. Although Drake was doing his thing, like, to me, he's always been a pop star. But they pushed him into hip hop. They pushed him into, after Meek Mill, y'all pushed him into hip hop. We don't even know if he still wrote that or not. That back to back or not, right? But regardless, he was pushed as a symbol of hip hop. And as long as y'all was making money from that man, everything, put like this, everything was transactional. I don't think Drake knew how much transactional it was. Again, each relationship is different. Some people may have a legitimate reason why they're mad at him. You know, it seems from what I remember, Joe Button a while back was saying how much behind the scenes he was an asshole, and somebody's mama passed away, and I'm not quite sure whose, and he didn't give a damn because he was just worried about the beat. So, you know, and I think that I'm assuming it could have been Metro Boomin, and that's why Future stood on business. Like, you know, you treat him like that, then damn, you know, that's bad. You know what I'm saying? However, let's look at it from a different point of view. If he was so comfortable to treat him like that, that means he's been treating people like that when he's been in your presence too. And y'all didn't care. Y'all didn't care. Y'all didn't give a damn about how he treated other people. Y'all didn't care about his character then. So what made you care about his character now? The only person who stood on business once again off his character was Kendrick. He had a legitimate problem. It was a real problem. It wasn't because he was sharing chicks with Drake. He wasn't nowhere around that. He wasn't being bothered with him. Y'all was. And whatever happened, somehow y'all utilized Kendrick to open that up, right? But y'all didn't. But even after the whole situation, y'all was dancing around it. Y'all was trying to, oh, well, we just trying to keep everything low key. Now, don't get me wrong. When Kendrick did the Harper's Bazaar, he didn't go in either, but he did point out a simple fact about Not Like Us, what it meant, and he elaborated further. The reason why he didn't say anything in Harper's Bazaar, because he was going to say everything he needed to say on GNX, and he did. Y'all still pussyfooting around talking about, well, it's just, it's rap, which is cool. I understand tampering it down, but let's be real at the reason why you tampering it down too. You don't have to mention your personal business, but let's stop playing. Y'all playing now. You know, I go back to what I said earlier. This was an eye opener not only for Drake but for Kendrick too. He's seen how everybody was playing their position. He's seen it. He wasn't just going against Drake. He was going against a whole system. Drake was just ahead of it, or not even ahead. Drake ain't even ahead of it. He's the representation of it. You know? So I honestly feel that because what Kendrick did versus Drake, Kendrick had a lot more to lose as far as relationships in the industry if he ever felt to be bothered. But I feel like that's probably why he moved the way he did, because his core people that will always have his back is that PG Lane, TDE crew. He ain't worried about the rest of y'all. He don't care about the rest of y'all. If he has not known you personally, or he hasn't grown up with y'all, and even past that, met you after the fact that he grew up and y'all got cool, he don't care about the rest of y'all, because he know how money move, and all of y'all ain't part of that. He learned that. He learned that he's seen y'all's true color too. So, overall, I think that he could have made when I say he, I mean Drake could have made this as his Heart Part 6. If he would have made this his Heart Part 6, he would have had a better reception. We would have Not Like Us, but we would have looked at that like, yo, you know what? That Heart Part 6 though, that was nice. Drake was rapping on that Heart Part 6. He was on one. Because the one that he did, Drake's version, sucks. This is better than that. This is what he should have put out. Instead of all that other crap, this is what he should have put out. But pride always gets in the way of things, don't it? So what do y'all think about it? How do you feel about this I guess song, if we want to call it that, freestyle? Really not a freestyle, because he's actually reading it from his phone. But I'm not going to clown him on that because a lot of our famous MCs have done the same thing. I can point out MC, one of my favorite MCs right now, Method Man, who I love so much. Him and Black Thought was on Sway in the morning, and Sway kicked off a beat in which they was all freestyling and stuff. Black Thought was rapping straight from his head, so he was really freestyling. And Method Man had his phone. There's been a couple of times that people who are our favorite rappers had their phone. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not gonna, disrespect Drake on that. That's fine. Um, I don't know why it's called Fighting Irish. That's different for me. So I don't understand that. So maybe somebody can comment below. But another thing, though, what we need to understand about this too. Now, this would, like I said, this would have been a great part 6. But see, Drake, you also got to understand another thing about all of this. You move different. You say you don't care about everybody else, no other musician, and I get all that because you're just so upset. But the fact that you're going to even racist platforms to promote your music that know nothing about the culture, and I know you're doing that because you're trolling the culture. The only reason why you went to Aiden Ross is because you're trolling the culture. Because you could have simply went to Act. You know how wonderfully a lapdog licking Act would be if you would have joined his stream instead of Aiden Ross. But you did that because certain things you're doing, you're just trolling the culture. That's why, like, people such as myself don't report every step you do because I see what you're doing. I see what you're doing. You know? But that further shows and validates what Kendrick was talking about too. It further validates your lack of awareness and on purpose lack of awareness. You're on purpose oblivious about the culture of hip hop. You don't care. You don't care about hip hop like that. You said that hip hop ain't dead. It's just in a weird space because you're not running it. You're trying to figure out how did I lose out on this? I had everything at my disposal, but you didn't have the culture. And until you accept that, you're not going to understand this. And you're going to keep crying to LeBron and them wondering why they don't like you no more. And you're going to go through all these wishy-washy people, which you have the right. I will say again, you have the right. Because they was wrong when they did that now. I'm not going to lie. They was wrong. I would question their motives as well. You got the right to do that. Because just like you have the right to do it, Kendrick was doing it too. Both of y'all is sick of everybody. Which is hilarious. You're on different sides, but both of y'all are sick of everybody in the culture. That's funny to me. That's funny. Anyway, y'all, like, share, subscribe. Tell me what you think. This has been the reaction to Fighting Irish, quote unquote, or air quotes, freestyle. Y'all have a good night. Bye.